Hello everyone, and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Lead cross found on the Curse of Oak Island could be most historic find in North America. A lead cross found on the Curse of Oak Island could end up being one of the most historic finds ever in North America, the latest episode reveals. The bombshell revelation comes after emerging hard evidence convinces the team led by Rick and Marty Lagina of the cross's historic value. The lead cross was found in Oak Island's famous Smith's Cove by metal detecting expert Gary Drayton during filming in 2017 for Season 5 of the History Show. At the time, it was claimed the discovery could change the history of the world. The cross features a square hole at the top and bears an eerie resemblance to a carving seen by Rick Lagina in a wall at the Templar prison at Dom, France, during a research trip for the show. Original estimates were that the cross was made somewhere between 1200 and 1600 AD. In an exclusive interview this year, The Curse of Oak Island executive producer Kevin Burns revealed to Monsters and critics that the cross had undergone rigorous testing since it was found. Some of the results from those tests are revealed on the latest episode of the show. Burns said at the time of our interview that testing on the cross was still ongoing, but added, "We can't seem to find any evidence of cross of that shape or construction that is any more recent than the 1300s or earlier." He added, "In other words, some have dated it to as old as 900 AD. Some have said 1300 AD. And if it is in that neighborhood, it could very well have been left behind by a Templar, and that might be some kind of evidence that they did come to North America years before Columbus. If they did, what did they bring and why?" Smith's Cove has been the subject of extensive excavation work this year after a metal cofferdam was built around it to keep out water from the ocean. Also on the latest episode, new information about Nolan's Cross comes to light, which suggests a Templar connection to the island's famous money pit. Meanwhile, drilling at the pit itself also continues after last week's episode saw the team uncover what could be a network of tunnels below ground. Preview footage for the latest episode of The Curse of Oak Island, Season 6, Episode 6, shows Craig Tester saying this could be it, as a drill gets close to target depth in the money pit. After it appears to strike something solid, he asks one of the operators, "Could it be wood?" The operator replies, "I don't think so, it's pretty dense." Meanwhile, the team, including Rick and Marty Lagina along with Gary Drayton, are shown receiving the results of the tests on the lead cross, which an expert describes as pretty interesting. The episode description for this week's episode, titled Precious Metal, reads, "New insights on Nolan Cross suggest a Templar connection to the money pit while emerging. Hard evidence convinces the team the discovery of the lead cross may be the most historic find in North America." The winds off Mahone Bay carried a crisp bite as the Lagina brothers stood side by side, staring down at the table in the Oak Island Interpretive Center. In the middle, resting on a padded black cloth, was an object that seemed to hum with the weight of centuries, a small, corroded lead cross. It was not the first time the brothers had been presented with a tantalizing artifact, but there was something different about this one. Even before expert analysis, its presence radiated a sense of mystery that clung to the air. The metal bore a patina of age that no modern forger could mimic. Its edges were worn smooth, as though touched by countless hands, and etched faintly into the surface were markings, ancient, almost worn into oblivion, yet still whispering a story that demanded to be heard. Rick Lagina leaned closer, his voice low but thick with reverence. "If this is what I think it is, we might be holding one of the most historic finds in North America." Marty, ever the pragmatist, crossed his arms but couldn't hide the flicker of awe in his eyes. "It's a cross, Rick. We've seen religious artifacts before." "Not like this," Rick countered. "Look at the shape, it's not Latin style. It's European, medieval, maybe even older. This could be Templar." The word hung between them like a spark threatening to ignite a forest fire. Templar. The knights who had vanished into legend. carrying secrets and treasures said to span continents. Historians argued endlessly about whether they had ever set foot in North America. But now here was something that might rewrite that debate. The discovery. It had been found, and probably in the muck of Smith's Cove. Gary Drayton, metal detector in hand, had been sweeping the damp sand when his machine gave off a sharp, high-pitched signal. He'd expected a coin, maybe a piece of 18th century trade metal. Instead, when he dug through the blackened soil, the spade clinked against something dense. The lead cross emerged coated in grime. At first, it looked almost crude, but once rinsed, its detail revealed itself. Subtle lines, the unmistakable craftsmanship of a hand guided by both skill and devotion. Gary, never one to hide his enthusiasm, had nearly sprinted to show the brothers. "It's got that old feel, mate," he'd said, eyes gleaming. "Older than colonial. We're talking medieval, maybe earlier." The implications. Over the next week, the artifact was subjected to every test the team could arrange. X-ray fluorescence suggested the lead's isotopic signature matched deposits from southern France, exactly where the Templar Order had been based before its suppression in 1307. That one piece of data sent shockwaves through the interpretive team. It wasn't proof, but it was a compelling clue that tied the artifact to a region half a world away, in a time when crossing the Atlantic was supposed to be impossible. The discovery also aligned eerily well with earlier Oak Island finds. The coconut fiber deep underground, the 90-foot stone, and other fragments hinting at a pre-Columbus presence. Each clue had been intriguing on its own. Together, they were becoming a tapestry of mystery. The experts weigh in. Dr. Marie Bouchard, a medieval historian brought in from Quebec, stood in front of the artifact with gloved hands folded. "The form is consistent with 12th to 14th century devotional objects," she explained to the team. Such crosses were often carried by knights, pilgrims, or clergy. If this truly dates to that era, and if the lead comes from France, the implications are staggering. This would mean someone from medieval Europe, possibly from a monastic or knightly order, was here centuries before Columbus. Marty raised an eyebrow. "And you think that's likely?" She gave a small, knowing smile. "I think your island has been keeping secrets for a very long time." The debate. The team's war room became a hive of theories. Alex Lagina pinned maps of the Atlantic, marking medieval trade routes, and hypothesized Templar voyages. Jack Begley pored over old manuscripts, cross-referencing ship logs, and obscure passages about a western land beyond the edge of known maps. Some believed the cross was evidence of a sacred Templar mission to hide relics, perhaps even the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant, on Oak Island. Others took a more measured approach, suggesting it might have been lost by early European fishermen or explorers.